Hello there, this is Dr. Janet Hall, and I'm a clinical psychologist and a sex therapist, a hypnotherapist, and a parenting expert from Melbourne, Australia. And I run the Richmond Hill Psychology Clinic. I've recorded over 51 recordings, which you can find on Audible, and I've written 8 books. So I guess I really am an expert on relationships in many ways. And I'm going to talk to you today about a very sticky situation, and that is when you're in a relationship and you have to decide whether you should stay in the relationship or leave the relationship. Now, it's often very hard if there are children involved in a marriage or partnership because kids just don't understand. They would rather that their parents stay together no matter what, even if sometimes the parents are having lots and lots of conflict. I wanted to share with you how I helped one person, one woman actually, make the decision as to whether she should stay or whether she should go. You see, I've come up with a very unique way of making sure that you decide on 2 levels. One is whether or not you're thinking straight, rationally with your head, and the other one is whether or not you're taking into account what your heart says, your emotions. So what I do is I work with the 4-quadrant decision maker. First of all, for the top left quadrant, you have to write down all the reasons as to why you might stay in the relationship. So this woman, who was basically mostly unhappy, was staying because of her child. For her, it was about family values that she'd signed up for. And it was also about her security. We all fear change. How was she going to look after herself? She'd miss her home especially because she put a lot over time into making her home a beautiful house. She also felt a lot of duty and obligation to stay with her man. But the main reasons that she wanted to leave were she was feeling dead, and those were her words. There was no sex. He wasn't interested in sex. Now, that's kind of the opposite of the normal stereotype, isn't it? Where the women are supposed to be the ones who don't want to sign up for sex. So for this woman, there was no passion, and she felt she was being dishonest to stay in the relationship. And indeed, she was being dishonest because she had started an affair with a man at work. But she just wasn't attracted to her man anymore. She said, "I'm just out of love with him." She was starting to feel angry and trapped because they didn't even share any quality time. But one of the main things that she thought about, that she had to step into her power about, was that she wasn't happy and that she was just being a wimp. So there were the pluses for staying and the minuses for staying. But then I wanted her to go down to the bottom of the quadrant and look at the pluses for being free and the minuses for being free. The pluses were that she would feel alive for the first time in years. She felt like she'd been trapped for 10 years. Then she'd also have a chance to have great sex. The guy that she was having the affair with at work had actually left his girlfriend and wanted to make a relationship with my client. He said that my lady was the one true love of his life and that if she would leave her husband, he would marry her. He would take on her child. He would make a family with her. Now, sometimes I don't actually think that that's a good idea because I call that the stepping stone exit. For some people, and I guess especially for someone who's been what she called trapped for 10 years, perhaps she should have left and had some time to be on her own and find out who she was. But anyway, it was a good plus for her to leave because it countered those insecurities that she had. I tried to get her to think of it that she had a free opportunity now. She was really only young. She was only about 34. If she did set off on her own, she might find that she had a chance to meet quite a few other guys and sort herself out and find out who was really right for her. And she was kind of excited about being free and also not having to be obligated to reporting to somebody all the time. But the negatives of freedom or of leaving her partner was that she didn't want to hurt the father of her child. And she didn't want to hurt her child. She didn't want her child to go into a broken family situation. She also didn't want to be anxious. Sometimes it is kind of better off to be safe where you are, isn't it, than to face the unknown. Also, and this was, I guess, really high up on the list, was she didn't want to face her partner's confrontation and anger. What if he got violent with her? She was very scared of that. So there's the 4 quadrants. How do we make sense out of that? We've got reasons to go or not. We've got reasons to be free or not. Well, Dr. Jan's special, unique way of sorting it all out is to actually go a bit mathematical. What you need to do is to give each of the items a score out of 10 or out of -10. Well, once this lady did that to her quadrants, she actually found that the reasons to leave had very high scores and the reasons to be free had very high scores. You see, they actually kind of cross over. Anyway, shortly after that, I found out that she had separated. She found that determination and the guts, I guess, to move out. And even though her ex had taken it very hard, he basically did make a settlement for her that was fair and reasonable. And he was a devoted father to their child. So after having done that quadrant, this lady moved out because she'd really sorted out that she was doing the right thing. Now, maybe that's not right for you. Maybe all the right reasons at the moment say that you should stay in your marriage. But if you don't know, or if you'd like to get clear, you can give me a call on 61 3 9419 3010 or email me jan@drjanethall.com.au and I'll send you the quadrant. And if you'd like some coaching, I could help you work out the pluses and minuses and the scores so that you don't make a mistake. So that you, in fact, make the best decisions that you can so that you too can be happy. Thanks very much, and this is Dr. Janet Hall wishing you the happiness that you deserve.